motivated me was during my young age. I got a deep interest in education. So primarily during college days, I was with a volunteer club at IIT Delhi, in which we would go to a nearby slum area and teach the kids who didn't get those kinds of educational opportunities. Then my family has a background in educational institutions. My father, who is an architect, he started an architecture college in Sonipat, which then became one of the better institutions in the country. After graduation, I got involved in social entrepreneurship, particularly in education. So that is what kept me going, and eventually I realized that this is a sector which I enjoy working in.
So, sir, keeping in align with your background as an IITian, so what are the key factors which you took from your college days and which you wanted to improve upon in your college and you have implemented in Gateway and Rishud now?
Thank you. So what happened is because of the experience and exposure we got, we really were able to realize some of the gaps in our education system. So these are not just common gaps around it has to be more practical than theory, it has to be more soft skills, etc. But the purpose of education itself, we got to reflect on that. And when that happened, we saw that there is a innate curiosity in the students. They want to learn, but we have to make their education very meaningful. So we naturally get inclined to do something when we enjoy it rather than when it is forced onto us. So that I think became a major takeaway, that can we design a learning experience which is very joyful for the students.
So, sir, students learn from teachers and people who are natural leaders, right? So, what is your philosophy on leadership, and what is your style of leading students towards a more academian future and towards a more result-oriented education?
I'm very young, so I've not really got an opportunity to lead at that level yet. But what I will say is, I think aligning our team and our students in the vision and purpose, that's I think the most important. And as a leadership philosophy, I would keep that as the main priority. And then within our organization, can our career be a medium for us to grow internally, to fully realize our potential? I think that is what I would encourage within my colleagues.
So, sir, keeping again with the alignment of vision, so what are the changes keeping in line with the vision that have been integrated in the curriculum of Rishud University, keeping in mind the future, keeping in mind the changes that are happening at present, which we are experiencing right now?
So what we have done is that since we are very new, this is our first academic year, over the last 2-3 years, we have been very closely interacting with industry. So, for example, we have a School of Creativity. So, we have interacted with some stalwarts from the design fraternity, practitioners, as well as people who have been in academics, people who, in fact, started design education in India. They are on our board. So, what we are trying to do is we are identifying best industrial practices and then using that to create a social impact ecosystem, as we call it, where we want to encourage our students that can they use their subject expertise, subject learning to create a social impact. So through creativity, can we create a social impact? Through entrepreneurship, can we benefit the society? So this is the way we are structuring our curriculum.
So along with the curriculum, how do you think the Rishud University is becoming more welcome to students of different economic as well as social backgrounds, and how is it all being integrated on a more holistic development manner?
Great. So university is a derivative of the word universe, right? So it is a place which is supposed to be open for everyone. So by default, we have to welcome everyone and we want to welcome everyone. on economic needs, we have made special provisions to ensure that education and affordability, are not interrelated. So even if someone cannot afford, they can get the best of education. So we follow something called needs blind admission, where we don't see the financial need of the student before offering the admission. We assess the admission. We make the admission decision based on the merit, and if the students cannot pay for that, we find the money to pay for their education.
That's a very different and welcome initiative. Like, if we consider the entire education sector as a whole, that is something which is very unique. So what are your role and responsibilities towards the student as well as the university, keeping in mind the next 10 years and keeping the priorities in order over the next 10 years, and migrating the adaptation with the time?
So the way our university is structured, it's a board-driven university. So there is a board of governors, and there is an academic leadership headed by the vice chancellor who will lead the university. What we have done is we have created a 100-year vision. We've created our vision for the 21st century. We've thought where we want to grow and keep going every 10 years from now. So in that, one of the most important role as the CEO that I have to play is setting the foundation of the university, and that foundation has to relate and be grounded in the vision that we have of social impact. As a youth, I was very motivated with Swami Vivekananda's words, and our name Rishihood is adapted from his lectures. What we want to do is, can we establish a learning model, and that will take time because it's a new kind of a learning model. So that will take maybe 5-10 years to just stabilize and take a very robust shape. So for the next 10 years, if you ask me the priority, it will be to establish our learning model in a way which encourages students to create a social impact, and then our measurement of having achieved that would be that can we also guide other institutions in setting up this kind of a learning model.
So what would you like for the students to know, and the parents, something they would not find out from brochure or any prospectus, that you would personally want them to acknowledge about Rishihood, that this is different and this is the point that you will come along the way if you join us as our partners or as our family?
Okay, so we are a very student-centric university. And there are, of course, a lot of good universities which are student-centric, but what I mean by that is very soon we will reach a stage when the students will be designing their own programs. We won't be forcing a list of courses onto them. Interdisciplinary choice of subjects, we are taking it to an extreme where after entering the university, the students actually will have the choice to choose what subjects they want to learn, when they want to learn, and then what kind of thematic areas they want to specialize in. And it will be a very hands-on learning experience based on personalized aspirations. So every student has a different learning style, different ambition in life, different nature. So can we teach them, can we create a learning environment which is very, on one end it's very robust, and on the other end it's very personalized for each student. That's going to be a major task ahead for us, but that's where we are creating a USP at Rishihood, being a very student-centric university.
So that essentially will be the biggest strength of the Rishihood, but at the same time the biggest challenge. So what do you think will be other challenges that you'll be facing along the way in the 100-year scope of implementing all of this?
Okay, so universities are an ecosystem of knowledge, and it is driven by people who are participants of that ecosystem. So one of the major challenges that is going to be is identifying and inviting the right kind of faculty members and the right kind of students. I think this is if we have to align with our vision, we have to find people who really are committed to that vision. And it's not so easy to find people who are 100% aligned with you. So that's going to be a challenge.
So, what would be your message to the students who will be joining in the upcoming years, and what will be your message, or letter of letter of invitation to the parents and students?
Okay, so I would say that we are living in very, very interesting and very exciting times. If you look at India, I don't think we've had this kind of an opportunity where we have a very growing economy, a very stable democracy. The world is looking up to us. Our demographics, the strengths of our youth are really coming at the forefront. So I would say that we should not settle for something less. We should be prepared to realize our full potential. So if you are a parent, you should be absolutely fine letting your child experiment for some time. There's nothing to lose and everything to gain. If you're a student, don't worry about what's going to be your future life. The future is absolutely bright. You just focus on doing something which you like, or be completely open to explore different things to find out what you like. And then once you've done that, live a very responsible life in which you can realize your full potential.
Very, very insightful, sir. So, what are the policies that you are designing or will be designing in the coming days for the international students? Because as of this year, at least this year, we can see because of COVID, there will be very less migration amongst the countries. But that will again, of course, we'll see 100-200% spike next year. So what are the policies being designed for those students?
Right. So we have an active international office. In fact, before the lockdown, we were also having some visits, people coming here, and we're going to some countries. We've already partnered with some universities in South Korea, in Russia, in Malaysia, and we are in touch with advanced level discussions with some universities in the UK, Europe, and US. So internationalization is definitely a key factor in any kind of a high quality learning experience, because we get a global perspective. We get to learn so much from each other. This year is going to be a challenge, definitely. What we're trying to do is, for the students who wanted to go abroad for their studies, we're trying to identify the gaps that we can fulfill in this, at least this semester or the next 2 semesters, because they won't be able to go outside. We have not yet also card enough. I think that was it.
Okay, sure. तो वो तो सर सब edit हो जाएगा, whatever we don't want. So sir, how do you how have you established since the world has become very environmental conscious suddenly in the last few years, so how do you plan to integrate that into the university roots, and to encourage students to follow environmentalism?
That's a very important question, and since we are designed as a social impact university, environment and sustainability is a very important concern for us. So one is the ecological environment. So what we have done is, at a curriculum level, sustainable design, sustainability practice, everyday sustainability, these are part of what our students will learn. So whichever school at Rishiyut they enroll in, sustainability is a core part of the curriculum. And in our campus, we have been very proactive in creating a green and sustainable environment, built environment. We also have I think that's going to be very interesting for our students. We have a 4-acre organic farm on campus. So the food that will be served to the students and the faculty will be grown in-house organically. And then for our own well-being, personal well-being, spiritual and health and wellness aspects are important. So we have in-house wellness experts and psychological counselors who also provide the students with their emotional, spiritual and physical well-being.
So there's one more concept, the two more concepts that I wanted to ask about. One is entrepreneurship, which is a very millennial concept. So, how is Rishud University going to encourage entrepreneurship in the students in the communities?
Great. So we have a full-fledged school of entrepreneurship. I think it's one of the pioneer schools in the country, and our programs both at undergraduate level and at postgraduate level in entrepreneurship are designed like an incubator. So you can imagine that the school itself is an incubator where the students will come and then they start working on their ideas. And during the time of building their startups, they get academic inputs as and when needed. It's a very mentorship based and applied kind of training for budding entrepreneurs. So the training will come in the form of boot camps or intense workshops. But during the course of their degree, they will spend significant amount of time on building their ideas. So, they can fail, they can succeed, but the journey of building their idea, exploring their idea, experimenting with their idea will give them that kind of a risk appetite to become an entrepreneur. Now, this is for the students who are focused on entrepreneurship. But generally, for us, entrepreneurship is a focus which we want to give to all the students across schools. So even if a student is enrolled in the School of Healthcare, entrepreneurship is a part of the curriculum. For School of Creativity, entrepreneurship is a part of the curriculum. So students may go to different domains as academic disciplines, but an enterprising spirit is something which we are building in all the students.
Okay. So another very millennial concept is following your passion. So how will Rishud again integrate following a very traditional curriculum and course methodology while encouraging students to follow their passion? So how will be the very synchronization happen between these two different ends of the spectrum?
Right. So I'll give you an example of what we are doing. So we've designed something called the gap year. Now, gap year is a popular concept. Many people in Europe and US take a gap year after their high school and they explore their life. So what we have done is we've tried to restructure that concept a little, bring it to an Indian audience in which we don't get those kinds of opportunities or that kind of an exposure in our high school days. So we don't really get exposed to a variety of fields. But after high school, we want the students to relax for a year, explore life, travel, do a variety of workshops, meet people from different careers, and make up your mind what is it really that interests you. So following their passion. That's one kind of intervention, and we hope that many more universities will take up this concept of gap year and encourage people to take gap year before coming to college. The second is, as I was saying, we are a very student-centric university, so the choice for the students to choose what they want to learn is very high at Rishi. So they can really customize their degrees based on their interests. They can choose what projects they want to do, what internships they want to do, how they want to mix and match different subjects to create specializations. All that is possible.
I think a lot of engineers would have wanted a gap year in India. So
yeah, I totally agree with you, because one of the reasons we did this was our own reflection. So when I was in my first semester at IIT, I completely hated it. I thought, why did I study so hard for the last 2 years to get here? Because I'm not enjoying our course at all. But then I got active in other things in college. So I enjoyed my time. But I think we really don't give our students an opportunity to think what they want to do. We just push them into something.
You were at NSIT also. Everything apart from engineering was what made me love my college. So how are you strategizing about the key programs and planning the marketing for the programs, because that will again become a very integral part, because we understand it is something very unique, but the market adaptation and market modality has to happen very quick.
So yeah, that's very true. What we are doing about our programs is that we were fortunate to set up a very strong academic team. Our vice chancellor, deans, all the faculty members, they come with a great experience and great background to develop very innovative programs. Now we are trying to inform people about what we are doing. So we regularly write in newspapers and media, in digital portals to tell about our work. And we think marketing is going to be a key challenge because this is our first year. But as the university is following a very social impact kind of a vision, the plan is really long term. So this is going to be a niche university for a particular set of students, parents, and faculty who are interested in social change. So we are not looking at big numbers in terms of student enrollments. We want to be very focused and specific in the areas that I just mentioned. So yeah, I think over the years we will be able to spread our word out, and the challenge of reaching out to people in marketing will reduce. But it is, of course, a major task for us this year.